All right, folks, we have a great guest with us. We've talked about a lot of amazing reality shows, and there's probably one that sits right at the top of the list of fan favorites, and that would be Deadliest Catch. Season 11 is starting again. That will be Tuesday, April 14th at 9 o'clock on Discovery Channel, and you don't want to miss it. And we have a great guest with us, Captain Wild Bill. How you doing, Bill?
Doing great. Thanks for having me. Got a new season coming up. It should be good.
Oh, well, you know what? It's always good. First I have to ask, with a name like Wild Bill, it seems like that just almost comes with the territory. Is there any other like normal nicknames? It requires a wild nature to do what you guys do.
Well, the wild thing actually came about long before I went to Alaska, but it carried on well once I got there. So wild is something that it takes a while to acquire.
What is it about this season? And we get crazy typhoon weather, massive storms. What kind of stuff do we get to look forward to as a viewer that you guys are enduring?
One of the things that happens this year, there's always stuff that will just, it's excitement just beams. But the thing that's different this season is it's going to be so much sharper, so much clearer. We've got new cameras, and I've looked at some of the footage and the clarity. They have a camera on the chase boat that can actually look into the wheelhouse, and Discovery keeps raising the bar on how they film this thing. And I think people are really going to be amazed at some of the actual video that they see this year on the TV.
Do you think that is a better sense of realism? People are really able to capture a better sense of what the environment is like, as well as some of the action and sort of the putting life in harm's way.
I think what we're going to see a little bit more of this season is the clarity on the expressions on the guys' faces, because some of the pain that they endure, the suffering from the weather, they'll push a pot and they'll pinch a finger, just to see the kind of reaction that you're going to get. I think we're going to have a better look at that, because I think people just relate to the crew, relate to what they're going through, and they relate to the captains, and I just feel like they're going to get a better shot at seeing our emotions.
I know that, when we look at how you're described, they always use adjectives like unconventional and things like that. Do you feel as though you're unconventional? Is it by design, or is it just your nature coming out and being birthed out of a long history out on sea?
Well, with me, my industry break-in was with some tough brothers out of Oregon, and it was back in the late 70s, and it was truly a different fishery then. I mean, it wasn't uncommon to have you mouthed off to somebody like a deck boss who'd turn around and just, he'd punch you in the head. And things have changed. Obviously, we got a little bit more of an HR department, but it was a whole different mentality in the beginning. It was the Wild West. Everybody's life was on the line then as much as now, probably more so then, because we follow a lot tighter set of rules now. But I don't know, we're dealing with a different generation that's coming in as deckhands, and life's been a little easier on them, and that's all part of the show. I mean, you're going to see that it's been tough, and it's going to continue to be tough to get new guys to participate.
One aspect that has been tough, and has definitely been part of the storyline that you've endured during the different seasons there on Deadliest Catch, is your son coming on board into the industry and that kind of thing. Do we get to see more of your interactions with him? That's a big part of what goes on the boat, and I've actually gotten to the point where one of my main purposes in continuing to fish is to, coach my son into making his way to the wheelhouse. I mean, it's like any job, any industry. If your family owns the boat or their family's the boss, you might have a little quicker path to move up the ladder. And I'm trying to get him to where he takes over and he runs the boat before I retire. And my deckhand Nick too. Nick's got his own demons that he fights, and we'll see a bunch of that. But both these guys have the potential to be future captains. It's just getting them to make the commitment is the hard part, and you'll see a lot of that this season. We're talking with Captain Wild Bill. He's previewing Deadliest Catch. It returns on Tuesday. That's April 14th, season 11. It's hard to believe it's been that many seasons already, but reality TV has a huge following. It is a great examination on the incredible life of these jobs overseas. I mean, I can't imagine being on the Bering Sea and doing what you guys do, Bill. I really do. I enjoy watching the show just because it's just an extraordinary thing to put yourself out there that way. And when you look back now, this many years, being on the show, doing stuff, your own, fishing tours, things like that, do you have certain things that you kind of hang your hat on as far as accomplishments go? excuse me. Well, one of the things, I've got a real strong mechanical background. I was trained as an electrician in the nuclear Navy, and I was port engineer for a tugboat company, and I've always been my own engineer. And one of the things that I bring out is if something breaks, it's just a hurdle. You fix it and you continue on, because in the Derby days, which is the majority of my career, if you had a breakdown, it could cost you your whole season. So a lot of my net worth was being able to fix things at sea with the parts and pieces that we have, and being able to continue to fish. So I think when I look back at it, the times that that's depicted, that's the moments that I'm the most proud of.
Well, to contrast that, obviously last season we saw a lot of the wilder side of Bill come out at times, and I think even some critics were talking about the bullying on the show and that kind of thing. Do you have moments that you kind of regret, or you wish you could wheel back?
I'm not a guy that looks in the rearview mirror much. I look ahead. If I did it, I can't really change it. So basically, I've made a few comments that took some heat. I made one comment about Zach that you're making your mom proud. She always wanted a girl, and I took a lot of heat from that from fans. But it was just kind of a dark sense of humor. I wasn't being serious, but with social media the way it is, where our life's pretty much on the table, and you're going to get across the board. You're going to get responses from all types, and the social media side can be kind of tough sometimes, because you get some people that are just sitting on the end of a phone that, they're not really in the same arena, but they're sure quick to judge what we do.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you put yourself out there on a reality show, especially something like Deadliest Catch, where the environments and everything is at such an extreme level. Your life's under a microscope, and you have sort of the couch cowboy who wants to try to say like he has an opinion on things, and it definitely is a contradiction to living it and breathing it the way you guys do on the show. And folks, you definitely don't want to miss it. That's Tuesday night at 9 on Discovery Channel. Deadliest Catch season 11 kicks off, and Wild Bill's been able to give us a little bit of a preview of what to expect. And Bill, you mentioned retirement. Is there some other kind of like notches in the belt, some accomplishments that you're looking for, trying to accomplish before you kind of hang things up?
Well, immediately I'd like to get Zach to the wheelhouse. That's one of my main events. But after that, I've run sport fishing boats in Mexico and Costa Rica. I love that industry. I love to cook. I'm looking at maybe doing a show about cooking across the country. You go to Maine and you get a lobster from the boat and you cook. I mean, we got a few ideas and things, but I don't think I'll be able to sit idle. I'll be doing something. But I'm not done with Alaska for a couple of years. But
all right,
there's a lot of doors that have opened because of the show.
Well, and that's always good to see, right? Fulfill some new dreams and things that may not have been able to manifest. The Deadliest Catch has opened those doors for you, and it's been a great chance to be able to catch up with you, get to know you a little bit, and definitely get a good preview of season 11. And folks, we'll link to some of that. I think we got a couple trailers and preview things we can throw up there as well on the internet version of this, and make sure you catch that as well. So, Bill, thank you again for fitting us into your schedule.
My pleasure. Thanks for the call.